Today, I am going to rank all of the palettes I have tried so far in 2025. I hope I've counted correctly because there really isn't that many palettes. I only have 29 palettes to talk about. I feel like that's much lower than in past years, but there are a handful of palettes that I'm currently still testing. So there may be some palettes missing from this ranking that you might be like, well, I've seen you use XYZ. I might still be in the process of testing the palette. So that could also be why I may be missing palettes from this ranking. But anyway, I am going to rank all the palettes from my least favorite all the way up to my most favorite palettes that I've tried this year for the very first time. I am going to link the palettes down below in the description box if you want to check them out. Actually, I don't know that I can link all 29, but I will link as many as I can. And I'm going to let you know why I like or dislike something. When it comes down to it, at the end of the day, this is mostly based on preference. It is very rare nowadays that palettes come out and they're not good quality. It's very, very rare. So just keep that in mind. Just because something is towards the end of the ranking doesn't mean it's a bad palette. It's maybe just not my favorite when I'm putting it up against all these other palettes that are at the top. There are so many good palettes launching all of the time, especially indie brands. They're killing it. They're killing it with their formulas. So a lot of the times it is color story preference or formula preference. So again, I will be making sure that I explain my reasons why, but I would also love to know your thoughts on the palettes I talk about today, the ones that I mention either at the bottom or the top or in the middle. You know, let me know what you think about them. Let me know if there's any palettes on this ranking that you skipped on that maybe you're rethinking after seeing my review. When I post the close-ups and swatches on screen, I will put the letters PR up in the corner to let you know that I received the palette in PR, and I'm really thankful that most of these palettes I did receive in PR. I would say 80% of them I received in PR. Very, very thankful for that. So I think that's all I have to say. So let's get to it. Now, as an honorable mention, I am going to mention the two palettes from Singe Beauty. I am not going to rank these because I am biased. I have to say, the owner of this brand is Angelique Nikves, and she is one of my friends. I talk to her frequently. I edit videos for her. I have a bias, and I have to admit that. But I will say both of these palettes, I think the Galactic Visitor launched at the very end of last year, but I ended up reviewing it in January because I wanted to use it a few times, especially with it being a new formula. But the Galactic Visitor palette, the actual cover art, so cool. Like Western themed and sci-fi, absolutely love it. And it's like a half neutral, half blue palette. I'm not the biggest blue lover, but the quality of the palette is so good. The mattes are blendable and pigmented. The shimmers are stunning. I don't love a chunky textured shimmer. You're probably gonna hear me say that 1,000 times in this ranking, and none of these shimmers are chunky and textured. They're just smooth, shiny. There are a couple of special shades. There are some standard shimmers, which I always love having a mix of different formulas of shimmers and palettes. Agate Temptation is her newest release. Absolutely gorgeous cover art here as well. And I love this color story. Greens and warm toned neutrals, which are some of my favorite colors to wear. Absolutely one of my favorite combinations are greens and warm neutrals. Same formula that I talked about, and I love these types of greens that are leaning a little more on the grungy, warm side. So, highly recommend Singe Beauty. I feel like the formula is universal in terms of like everybody's gonna get along with this. I really do. If you are experienced with blending, if you're new to makeup, if you want pigmented mattes that you can sheer out, that you can build up, shimmers that again have some special shimmers, some standard shimmers. I mean, it's got a great formula, and both of these color stories are stunning. And I can't wait to see what she comes out with next. She kind of already was chatting with me about it, and I'm so excited. So now we're going to start the official ranking. So coming in at number 29, I have these two palettes from Pacifica. Now, if you watched my latest palette ranking that I uploaded pretty recently, a few weeks ago, these came in at the last spot, and I'm going to try to go quick because this video is going to be a million hours long if I don't. So I got these in PR from Pacifica. It has been a couple years since I've tried eyeshadows from Pacifica. And in the past, this is Malibu, which is more neutral leaning. And then Waikiki is a little more cool toned, slightly more colorful, but pretty muted colorful shades. In the past, when I tried their eyeshadows, I thought the formula was pretty good, especially for a drugstore formula. The mattes in the other palette that I had used were blendable, not overly pigmented, but good. The shimmers were really pretty, just standard smooth shimmers, nothing special, but good. I feel like the pan shapes in this has changed how the shadows perform, because these are pressed extremely hard in the pan, but we have heart pans. But I do think that this would be a good palette for a preteen or something like that, someone who is just starting out in makeup, because it has the heart pans. It's kind of cute, it's kind of youthful. The mattes in this are definitely light to mid-tone in both of these colorways. There's no deep mattes. So again, maybe someone who's just starting out who doesn't want a deep smoky look, just wants like one shimmer, one matte. The shimmers are not special. They're not super shiny. Again, pressed pretty hard in the pan. I don't really recommend these, especially if you love indie shadows, but maybe if this is like a gift for a preteen or something, maybe you would want to go reach for it, but also I feel like you could get a ColourPop palette for the same price and the quality is much better. So take my review how you will, but definitely my least favorite palettes I've tried so far this year. Coming in at number 28, I have the Prismatic Pugilist palette from Game Beauty. Again, this was in my last palette ranking, and I did receive this in PR. This is a gaming-based indie brand, and the game that they're basing this collection on is Street Fighter 6. There are a lot of really good products in this collection. I really enjoyed the cream blushes, I enjoy the lipsticks, the single shadows are my ultimate favorite thing from the collection. This packaging is extremely large, so keep that in mind. It is slim, but it's pretty big. There's a lot of wasted space. Not my favorite thing ever, but it's not the end of the world. But again, when I'm trying to be nitpicky with this ranking, these are things I have to take into consideration. This is really mostly a color story thing. It's pretty bright, pretty much a rainbow palette. I prefer something that's a little more curated. I prefer palettes that have just like kind of a gradient style where I can create a look pretty easily. This is a palette I found it was a little more difficult to create cohesive looks for what I personally like. I don't do super creative looks, and I think that if you do super creative looks, maybe you would gravitate towards this more. I think the mattes were good. They're not my most favorite mattes, and with them being like super bright colors, it probably is harder to formulate matte shadows like that. I didn't think they were the easiest to work with, but they weren't terrible. The shimmers in this are really pretty, but it's very matte heavy. So that's just kind of where I land with that. I just like everything else much more going forward. Coming in at number 27, I have the Gourmand Girls Frozen Kiss palette. Again, I think this launched at the very end of last year, but I did end up reviewing this in January. And by the way, if I have any affiliate codes with these brands, I will pop them up on the screen as well. You're gonna hear me say, and I don't wanna keep repeating myself, especially if you've been here before, you guys know blues are my least favorite color to wear. And if a palette has a lot of blues in it, it's not gonna probably come up pretty high in the countdown because I just don't prefer to wear blues. I will wear them and I do wear them, but in terms of preference, if I have to like look at palettes side by side, I'm usually gonna pick a palette that doesn't have blues in it, but the quality of this is good. Gourmand Girls, I feel their quality has improved since, a few years ago when I first tried them. The mattes are good. They're much more pigmented now than they used to be. The shimmers are really pretty, and the shimmer formulas, they are experimenting with different shimmer formulas. There's this kind of like marbled shade, which is fun. I do feel like some of their shimmers are definitely on the textured, chunky side. It's not my favorite formula, but there are some smoother shimmers as well that are really, really beautiful. So yeah, that's just kind of where I stand with that, but it's still a good palette. Coming in at number 26, I have the Dexter and Lethal Cosmetics collaboration palette. I will tell you right now, the packaging is bumping it way, way down. I don't like this packaging. I know that it has to do with Dexter. I don't know anything about Dexter. I've never seen Dexter. It's his like blood case or whatever, but it's extremely hard to like manage and store, and my actual palette part, I did put it back in, but it fell out, and when I received it, it was broken. So, I mean, it's just not like the easiest packaging. I get what they were going with this, but for someone who's not a fan, it doesn't really mean anything to me, and I would have preferred this just to be in regular packaging. The quality of the shadows is really good. The mattes are very pigmented. The shimmers are very shiny. Again, I do feel like a lot of the shimmers are textured and chunky, just not my favorite formula, but I do like warm tones, so this red side is kind of fun. I don't love grays, but I did create some really pretty looks out of this, but yeah, I mean, that's just kind of why it's down at this part of the countdown. Coming in at number 25, I have the Simply Posh Snow Angel palette. This is the only palette they've launched this year. I hope they will come out with more palettes because Simply Posh's formula is so good. It's underrated. You don't hear too many people, I mean, at least I don't hear too many people talking about their formula. I believe, again, that this was either launched at the very end of last year, at the very beginning of this year was their holiday release. And it's just a color story thing. It's very blue, it's very cool toned, not in my preference, but I do appreciate how they lay out their palettes with a lighter matte, a deeper corresponding matte in the same column, and a corresponding shimmer. Their shimmers are so pretty, sparkly, shiny, and they're all usually shifting shadows, usually duochromes, and they are just so beautiful. A really good formula. The mattes are really easy to work with, blendable, not overly pigmented, but just a really solid formula. Packaging always feels really nice and good quality. It's just a color story thing. Coming in at number 24, I have the Clionadh Cosmetics Archeo palette. When I saw they were releasing these like larger palettes, this was last year that this launched, and I bought the Paleo palette. I already ranked that last year, and the Archeo palette they sent to me, and it just took a while for me to get to it. The shimmers from Clionadh, they are primarily known for their single shimmer shadows. Their shimmers, and in this palette, the shimmers are incredible. Some of the most beautiful shimmers I have in my collection. The only reason I'm putting this here is the mattes. I don't really love the matte formula in this palette. It's very powdery. It's hard to build up. It's hard to blend them with each other. They end up kind of blending away if you over blend them. It's just not like a matte formula that sticks to my eye very easily. And also the mattes don't really, like this random blue matte, I don't know, it doesn't really go with these warm tones. This is the deepest matte in the palette, and I don't really ever, again, because it's so powdery, I don't ever feel like I can get it to look like this. And it looks gray on my eye. I just don't like the tone of it, really. So the shimmers in this are phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But of course, half the palette is matte. I have to keep that in mind and take that into consideration. And by the way, if you are wondering what I'm wearing on my face, I will probably put the information in a pinned comment because I don't know that I'll be able to fit it in the description box, but I am not wearing any of the palettes I'm talking about today on my eyes. I'm wearing some mattes from the Wicked Widow Beauty and American Psycho palette, which is not in my ranking because I have not fully finished reviewing it. And the shimmer that's on my lid is a Super Shock Shadow from ColourPop. Again, it will be in a pinned comment. Let's move on. Coming in at number 23, I have one of the Garland and Garden quads from Clionadh Cosmetics. I love this little quad. It's so cute. Like the packaging is so cute. They came out with two quads. The other quad is higher up in the countdown because I just prefer the colors that are featured in this. I like greens. I really like this olive green. This green is a little bit more on the cool tone green side, like bluish green, minty green. These two colors, not my ultimate favorite. I really like this shimmer, but because it's pretty deep, like it has a deeper base, I just stuck my fingernail in it. Because it has a deeper base, I do feel that I need to pull into other palettes to get a deeper matte to go with it. I always love when the deepest shade in a palette is a matte, but can I reach into another palette to get a deeper matte? Yeah, I think I can. I think I have a deeper matte in my collection, but I'm trying to rank these based on standalone palettes. And again, the matte formula from Clionadh is not my ultimate favorite, but it's still cute. It's still pretty. The shimmers are so pretty. Coming in at number 22, I have the DD Signature Shattered Romance palette. I love me a 9 pan. I think it's like the perfect size to travel with. It is easy to store, and it's got usually enough versatility that you can create cohesive looks that are different. And I do feel that way about this. We've got pinks, we've got purples, we've got a matte black, which I really appreciate having in a palette because I do reach into a black matte quite often. I like this. I think the mattes in this are very good. Very good. Their matte formula is continuing to improve. I really like this shimmer here. It is super smooth. It's a duochrome from like a goldish yellow to a pink. These two shimmers are chunky, like pretty darn chunky. So I don't love that. So that's why it's in this spot. Still a good palette. Like, we're getting stuff where it's like, I have to be really picky now. I don't really find that there's anything wrong with the formulas. Really, it's just more of a preference thing. Coming in at number 21, I have the Cosmic Beauty Sinister palette. This was in the mystery box that they released, I guess. Was it around Halloween last year? I don't know. Yeah, it must have been at the end of last year because I ranked this in January. I love the Cosmic Beauty formula. It's one of my favorite formulas, both in the mattes and the shimmers. Their mattes are pigmented, blendable, just that perfect kind of in between. And the shimmers are typically super smooth, super pretty. I do love that they usually do standard shimmers and then they put in 1 or 2 special shades because that's all I need. That's all I need. And they did that. I don't love the actual like color story. I mean, I like it, but I like other things more. So that's what I will say about that. And I did not really love the fact that they put this kind of glossy shade in here. If I had known about this, I don't know that I would have bought this, like seeing the color story and knowing that one of the shades, like I'm never going to use a shade like this ever. It's not something that's appealing to me. So, I mean, it's still a great palette. It's still good. The quality is great. I just have other things I like more. Coming in at number 20, I have the Nomad Cosmetics Chamonix Après Ski. I love the packaging on this. It is like a vintage postcard. It's got like a postcard feel to it, like paper. They kill it. They kill it with their packaging and their theming every time. Nomad is a destination-based indie brand, by the way. So they base their different collections on destinations around the world. I think whenever they do a palette in this size, the formulas are always so good. Like, in my opinion, the best formulas that they have. The mattes are a really good pigment level and the shimmers are so pretty, ultra smooth, ultra shiny. I love the addition of these 2 iridescent duochromes. I think that made a big difference in this palette and I used these as highlighters and they looked so gorgeous. So incredibly gorgeous. I will say, by the way, if you are interested in seeing what looks I've created or more information, more in-depth thoughts with these palettes, most of these palettes I have like done videos with, either featured them in like a multiple palettes, multiple looks video or have done their own dedicated video. So you can just search my channel. I'm not gonna be able to pop up like looks with every single one of these palettes because I'm going on vacation in 4 days. I'm not gonna be able to do that, unfortunately, in terms of editing time, because it takes hours. Anyway, back to the palette. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. But you know, there's a lot of blues and the greens here aren't my favorite types of greens. And I love neutrals. I love neutrals. And there's some really beautiful neutral palettes coming up. But if you like this color story, I think it's one of their best quality palettes they've released recently. It's just so stunning. Coming in at number 19, I have this palette from Futurism. And it does not say the name. Everything's in a different language. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it's called, but I will put it on the screen when I pop up these swatches. So Futurism is, I believe, a Chinese company and there's a piece of plastic still on it. Okay. They create the most gorgeously, aesthetically pleasing palettes and products in general. And they sent me a PR package with a bunch of their things and this was in it. This cover, it is absolutely beautiful and the embossings are absolutely beautiful. In recent time, in the past couple of years, I have really been drawn to easy neutral eye looks. Soft and pretty. I don't need the shimmer on my lid to be a multi-chrome. I don't need it to be overly shiny. I can appreciate a soft, pretty look. I really can, and that is what I can get out of this. Is this exciting in terms of a color story? No. But I'm going with my preference, my thoughts. I can see how someone can look at this and be like, this is so boring, but I've really been enjoying the looks I've gotten out of it. And I can't deny the actual packaging is beautiful. The embossing is beautiful. The quality of this is good. It's very, very subtle, but still pretty. So pretty. The shimmers are really pretty, shiny, kind of a little twinkle to them. So I'm really glad that they sent this to me. I don't know that I would have bought this on my own. Number 18, I have the other Garland and Garden Quad from Clionadh Cosmetics. They don't have separate names, unfortunately, but this one is the red one, or like the warm toned one. This is my color story. This is my color story. I freaking love it. The look I created with this, so, so, so beautiful. I actually think these mattes are better than some of the other mattes in the other palettes I've talked about from Clionadh. These two shimmers are not shifting. They are just standard shimmers. What you see is what you get, but they are so gorgeous. They're so gorgeous. Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of versatility with this. What you see is kind of the look that you're going to get. So, I mean, I do like the look though. Can't deny it. Number 17, I have the Kaleidos Futurism 7 Sashimi City palette. I remember way back in the day when I was first discovering indie makeup and they had all of these Futurism palettes. I was so curious and I had wanted them so bad, and they ended up sending me a PR package with a bunch of these Futurism palettes in it. This is the only one I've used so far. I did end up giving away one, I believe, yeah. And I've kept a couple that I haven't gotten to yet, but this one is the most neutral one. This is the one I remember when I saw was the one I was personally the most interested in. This is a perfect travel palette for me. I feel like there are different mattes in a gradient where we have light, mid-tone, and deep. Perfect for me, what I'm looking for. We have two gorgeous shimmers. Both of these shimmers are duochromes and they are stunning. They have a little more of a transparent base. They have a wet look to the eye, and it's just got everything I need in a 6-pan palette. I can't ask for anything more. It's not the most exciting palette. There are other palettes that I find a little more intriguing, a little more versatility, and get more looks out of it. But if you're looking for a 6-pan neutral palette that's really good quality, it's really slim, it's got a great formula, I really would recommend it. Coming in at number 16, I have the Nomad Fairy Tale Europe palette. Look at the packaging on this. Like I said, Nomad kills it with their packaging. The castle is raised, really pretty. And they did something very interesting with this palette. All of the mattes here at the bottom row are neutrals, and then we have a bunch of colorful shimmers. I think this is such a smart thing, and the shimmers in this are so pretty. Sparkly, twinkly. We have a couple of special shimmers, but we have mostly just really pretty standard shimmers. And if you are someone who likes neutral mattes with colorful shimmers, I think that you would really enjoy this one. It's pretty. I love it. Number 15, I have another Nomad palette, and this is the Route 66 palette. Packaging, super fun. I love that they did different like landmarks across Route 66, and the color story is super pretty. We have half warm tones, half cool tones. You know that I am definitely attracted to the warm tone side over here, and the cool tone side, you know, not my ultimate favorite color story, but I will say I really enjoy the looks I've gotten out of this. I do appreciate that there are some neutral mattes, there are some colorful mattes. Really easy to create cohesive looks, to be honest with this. It's not hard to put them together. This shimmer Comet 2 is so gorgeous, like this really vibrant, shiny, sparkly gold. This one, Gateway Arch, is such a unique, like, neutral shimmer that is, it's got a little bit of like a greenish effect to it. Really beautiful. These two shimmers down here aren't my ultimate favorite. I feel like they could have maybe been a little shinier, but overall a gorgeous palette and a really fun concept. Number 14, we have the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Beauty Below palette. This is our first Blend Bunny palette coming in the ranking. Cover art, 20 out of 10. I love this. I love this like spooky mermaid sirens type of thing. Very heavy palette. I do like that it is a slightly smaller size for the brand. And the quality, Blend Bunny mattes are in my top 3 favorite matte formulas ever. The most beautiful, blendable, pigmented mattes you will ever use. And anytime I go to a dance competition, I bring a Blend Bunny palette with me, usually the Blends palette, which is their all matte rainbow palette, because I feel like it's so foolproof and you can create super like saturated, vibrant looks with it, But of course you can just use a light hand to get a sheer wash of color as well. And the shimmers in this are so good. Some of the best they've ever done. Sparkly. There are some duochromes in here. Really gorgeous. If you are looking for like a jewel toned palette, more mid-tone to deep mattes, that is the only kind of downside for me is there's no light mattes in here. There's nothing for an inner corner highlight for me. I do usually have to pull into another palette to create a cohesive look. Not a problem. It's not a problem. Beautiful palette. Number 13, I have the Lethal Cosmetics Spellcraft palette. This came out at the very end of last year, but again, I reviewed it in January. Packaging is some of my favorite packaging in my collection. It's like a spell book and it's like faux leather. It has a clip here, which is so fun, and it is still a magnetic closure, which I appreciate. The palette is mostly a purple palette. I love neutrals, but my two favorite colors to wear are purple and green. So I love me a purple palette, although you can create other looks as well, but generally it is going to be leaning purple. The mattes in this are really nice. I do feel like the mattes that they have put in their collaboration palettes, like the Avatar collection or the newest collection that they did, Adventure Time, the mattes in those palettes are a little more pigmented, but not a problem, like still good mattes. The shimmers in this are really pretty, although some of them are a little more on the textured side, so that's the only kind of downside I can say about it, but it's, you're gonna hear me, I'm repeating myself. It's a good palette. I really like it. I'm happy to have it in my collection. I love purples, I love the packaging, good quality. Number 12 is the Blend Bunny Plastic palette. I know a lot of people, well, I mean, I feel like it was a mixed bag, at least of the people that I saw review it or comments about opinions on this, but I love this palette. It's one of my favorite Blend Bunny palettes. I love how small this is. This is right up my alley in terms of size. Like, this is the perfect size for me. I love that there's quite a handful of neutrals in here. It's speaking to my neutral loving heart. But there are some pops of color as well. We've got some pinky tones, this multi-chrome Clout Chasin', so gorgeous, so gorgeous. We do have a pop of this baby blue. We have a matte black, which I really enjoy. This shade doesn't look like it could be light enough for an inner corner highlight for me, but it is. And I don't love this pink shimmer. I wish it was a little more shiny, sparkly. It almost reads satin, and when I have colorful shimmers, I prefer my colorful shimmers to have a little more pop to them. I don't mind a neutral shimmer being a little more subtle. It's a bright pink. I would have liked it to be a little more poppy and special, but I love this size of palette. I hope she does more palettes in this size, because this to me is perfect. Coming in at number 11, I have the Odin's Eye and Morgan Turner Love Language palette. I really love Morgan Turner. I've been watching her for years. I'm so glad that she was able to create a palette with Odin's Eye. She's been reviewing Odin's Eye for a really long time, and she is a really hardworking YouTuber that I look up to, and she deserves to have a collab. I'm really happy for her. I love the cover art that Odin's Eye does with their collaborators, depicting them on the front with beautiful artwork. And this was their Valentine's Day collection as well. So it's giving Valentine's Day, but I also feel like I can use this other times of the year. You know what I mean? We have a quad of neutrals. I created a look with this quad of neutrals. Loved it. I love that I can create a neutral look out of it if I want to. Pretty easy. We have some pops of pink up in this quad, and then we have some more purples down here, which Morgan loves purples. So I'm not surprised to see purples in this palette. I love the layout. I love the shades that she chose. The shimmers in here are really pretty. Sometimes Odin's Eye will put super chunky shimmers in their palettes, and I don't feel like any of these are that chunky formula, so I appreciate it. It's a gorgeous Valentine's Day palette, but a palette that can be used not just for Valentine's Day, that you can carry throughout the year. All right, we are in the top 10. Yes, all of these obviously are, in my opinion, some of the best palettes that have launched this year. Absolutely gorgeous, great formulas. I'm being super nitpicky. I don't really have any negatives. Well, maybe here and there, one or two, but all really good palettes, and I recommend all of them. So coming in at number 10, I have the Gourmand Girls Bitten palette. I love this cover art. I believe this was their Valentine's Day release, and it is just a really fun, different Valentine's Day theme. I'm here for a spooky theme any time of year, and Doodles by the Bunny is someone that works with Christina from Gourmand Girls to create palettes. They worked on this together, and they've done a lot of spooky themed palettes, so they carried it into Valentine's Day. I love purples, I love berries, and this is full of those tones. Stunning palette. Super like vampy. You can go dark and deep and smoky. You can keep it light and bright because we have different varying tones. It's quite matte heavy, which I always prefer a matte heavy palette. I always use more mattes in my looks than shimmers. They do typically usually put in an iridescent multichrome or duochrome in their palette, which I always love for my inner corner. There aren't any like super chunky textured shimmers in here, which they do tend to do occasionally with their palettes. Yeah. I love the looks I got out of this. Coming in at number 9, this palette is not new. It did not launch this year, but if you've been here before, you know I have a drawer of shame. These are palettes that I've purchased throughout the years and have not used yet, and I'm slowly chipping away at that drawer, all right? And this was a palette that I had bought a while ago, and I finally got to using it, and I traveled with it. I used it as a companion palette. I used it as a standalone palette. It's not the most exciting color story you've ever seen, but I've really been enjoying the brunette palette from Milk Cosmetics. I have to admit, a gradient of light to deep in the mattes. And it's a neutral palette, which I love. I'm never gonna say no to a neutral palette. This is a gorgeous matte inner corner highlight for me. I will say this shade is pretty obsolete because it is the same color as my skin tone. So that is one shade that I won't use. But then we have 2 mid-tone mattes and a deeper matte. These shimmers are just pretty standard shimmers. I love a standard shimmer though. And when I created looks with this, I was really enjoying it. And again, I was reaching into this palette a lot as a companion palette. If I needed a transition shade, if I needed an inner corner highlight, if I needed a brown to, like a deeper brown to deepen it up, I was reaching into this a lot, particularly for the mattes. Yeah, I'm so glad that I ended up buying this. I bought it on sale, I think at Sephora a couple of years ago, and finally getting to it now, and I'm so glad that I did. And coming in at number 8, I have the Unearthly Cosmetics Thinking of You palette. This was their Valentine's release, and this is another neutral palette. For them, it's super neutral. One of their only like true neutral palettes that they've released. And Unearthly Cosmetics is one of my favorite formulas for mattes and shimmers. Their shimmers are ultra shiny, ultra smooth, ultra like eye-catching, super pretty. The mattes are blendable, easy to work with, pigmented, etc. If you've never tried Unearthly's eyeshadow formula before, I would highly recommend it. I would highly recommend it. I love the layout. We have some more like warm shades up here. We have some more just kind of neutral leaning shades. We have a peach, love that. This yellow shimmer, so stunning. My only gripe with this is these 2 shimmers look extremely similar on the lid, like almost indistinguishable on the lid. And because it's such a small palette, I do wish one of those shimmers was very different, you know what I mean? Or maybe another matte or something like that. But that's the only reason I can knock it down. If those 2 shimmers were different, it probably would have climbed up higher, but nevertheless, it's a gorgeous palette. Coming in at number 7, I have the Glam Light and the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 Team Jacob palette. I know nothing about Twilight. I've never seen the movies. I read the first book when it came out, never continued with the series. I don't care about the Twilight aspect. I do like their lenticular cover. I think that's fun. But this color story, it's beautiful. I think when Glamlight does it right, they do it right with their quality. I do feel like some of their palettes aren't the best quality. Maybe they use different labs for different palettes. I've tried palettes from them in the past that I haven't loved. I've tried palettes from them in the past that I've loved, like the Garfield palette, loved. So beautiful, quality, beautiful. And I do think this is the good Glamlight quality. The shimmers are sparkly, they're thin, which I love a thin shimmer. They're not thick and heavy on the lid. The mattes are gorgeous. We've got pretty neutral mattes here, pretty neutral shimmers, but we do have some muted pops of color. We have these greens, and even though it is pretty cool tone, there are some warm tones in here. There are some true neutrals in here that I can reach into, and I've traveled with this palette, been wanting to reach for this palette over and over again. It is a palette that I'm really, really enjoying. Coming in at number 6, I have the Fantasy Cosmetica Ranger palette. Fantasy Cosmetica is a phenomenal brand. They make phenomenal eyeshadows and they make great other products too, but I do feel like their eyeshadow formula is continuing to improve with every release. We have warm tones and we have greens. What else can I say? The mattes are blendable, pigmented. The shimmers from Fantasy Cosmetica, if you're looking for a subtle shimmer, not the brand for you. Not the brand for you. If you're looking for a shimmer that is shiny, eye-catching, star of the look, they're the brand for you. Ultra smooth, ultra emollient, just like yummy, just yummy. And I feel like they do a great job of creating 9-pans, which most of their palettes are 9-pans, creating 9-pan palettes that are versatile enough to get several different looks out of, but still cohesive enough that you can mix and match. And it's just a great, great color story. It's a great formula. Yeah, they're impressing me with every release. We're in the top 5 now, and coming in at number 5, I have another Fantasy Cosmetica palette. This is the Monk palette. Everything I said about quality, everything I said about versatility is here. Now, it is a little less versatile than the Ranger palette. This is pretty monochromatic, but do I love warm tones? Yes. A palette full of warm tones? Yes, give it to me. Shimmers, 20 out of 10. This one up here, Flow, it's an iridescent multi-chrome that is like molten chrome, like molten gold. So gorgeous. We have this marbled shade Flurry that is holographic. So gorgeous. Yeah, I can't deny that I love warm tones. I love the Fantasy Cosmetica formula. One of my favorite Fantasy Cosmetica palettes for sure that I own. Coming in at number 4, I have the Natasha Denona Bloom palette. You know, like I said, I love me some warm tones. So, you know, I love her. Every time I wear this, I'm obsessed with my look. It's fiery, it's warm, it can be soft and pretty, it can be deep and smoky, and I think Natasha Denona's formula is very good. I know some people don't love it. I love it. I love it. Is it worth the price tag? I'll leave that up to you. For me, it is. It is worth the price tag. I think packaging is always top tier, great quality. There is like a clear plastic with elements layered underneath. And I always feel secure about traveling with a palette like this. I think the selection of shades in here is great. Light, mid-tone, and deep in the mattes. We have different shimmers, different shimmer formulas, which she is experimenting with her newer palettes. Every time she comes out with palettes, her shimmer formula is getting better and better in my opinion. You know, back a few years ago when she did MIDI palettes, I wasn't crazy about the shimmers, but it's a really pretty palette and I love it. You know, I'm in my soft and pretty era. I'm in my soft and pretty eyeshadow era. I really am. So this palette, this next palette, number 3, I'm gonna be honest, I had very low expectations for this palette. But when I was using it, I kept wanting to reach for it over and over again. Even after I was done testing it, I kept wanting to reach for it over and over again. And so I have to put it up at the top. And this is the NARS Afterglow Tempting palette. Okay, so first of all, packaging is pretty. I mean, it's plastic pink packaging. It's nothing that's like wowing me, but I do feel like it's good quality. I will say that. This color story is pretty darn neutral leaning. It is a color, let me hold it this way, I guess. It is a color story that I will reach for daytime, nighttime, everyday event. It's beautiful. I do wish there were more mattes. There's only 3 mattes, but I was expecting these mattes to be dusty, crusty, barely there. The mattes are beautiful. Blendable, silky, pretty pigmented. Like I've never used NARS's eyeshadows before, but I'm so used to indie shadows where the mattes are just ultra pigmented, and I haven't used a ton of mainstream palettes besides like Natasha Denona. So it had been a while since I'd used a mainstream palette, and I had low expectations, like I said, but the mattes are beautiful. Honestly, so beautiful. I wish there was like 1 or 2 more that would have really made it for me. These shimmers I think are so beautiful. There are 2 different shimmer formulas in here. One of them are calling a glitter, which I don't know why they're calling it glitter. It's not a glitter, but it has a little more pieciness to it, a little more of a topper type of feel. Very ethereal, very pretty. I mean, so pretty. Every time I wear this, I feel just pretty. I just feel pretty. You know what I mean? I'm in my soft and pretty era, and this palette is giving it to me. Okay, the top 2 spots, I'm telling you, I Went back and forth. They're very close. You could ask me in a week, they could be in reverse. Truly, truly. But I'm sticking with my original instinct, and this is what we're going with. Coming in at number 2. Some of you might think I'm crazy, but I love this palette. I absolutely love this palette. The ColourPop and Twilight New Moon palette. Again, I don't care about Twilight. I will say I love the packaging. I think it's beautiful with this moon and the tree. Oh, it's so pretty, and the colors, and it's like a soft matte touch. Great, great, great packaging. Yeah, honestly, this color story, it makes me drool. It makes me want to drool. I love grungy neutrals. I love grungy neutrals, and this is just the yummiest color story to me. I think quality-wise, it's good. Like, it's really good. The number 1 spot, I think the reason I'm putting the number 1 spot where it is because the quality is better than this, but I still think the quality of this is really, really good. We've got light, mid-tone, and deep in the mattes. We have a matte black, which I love. We have 2 of these like glitter hybrid shades, which honestly, I quite like that formula. I think it's pretty, especially these, like I've used them. I like how they look on the eyes. We have a couple of standard shimmers. We have this one that's like more of like an iridescent shimmer. We have this more satiny shimmer, which I don't usually love, but in this color, I quite like it because I probably won't use this all over my lid. I did use it like on my lower lash line and the inside part of my lower lash line. And if I am gonna put a shimmer there, I do prefer it to be satin so it doesn't like rain down on my under eye. Yeah, I mean, this is just a color story that really, really like scratches an itch in my brain. And I think the quality's good. I think quality's good, especially for the price. I really, really enjoy this palette a lot. And coming in at number 1, can I get a drum roll, please? If you saw my latest palette ranking, you're not gonna be surprised by this because it came in at number 1, and it is 2 palettes that I'm grouping together because I feel equally passionate about them. They came out together and they work super well together, and that is the Murky Meadow and Shadowed Petal palettes from Unearthly Cosmetics. I have been using these nonstop. I've traveled with them. Once again, when I was done reviewing them, I continued to reach for them. They're so beautiful. They're so different, but they work so well together. I've created looks with them together. I've created looks with them separate. Listen, Unearthly can do no wrong in my eyes in terms of eyeshadow palettes. They have an unbelievable formula. Okay, enough. Murky Meadow, grungy greens, warm tone neutrals. Need I say more? The mattes, gorgeous. Like, I can use these 3 mattes to create a neutral look, pop this neutral shimmer or this neutral shimmer on my lid, good to go. But I can add this little pop of neon green. I can deepen it up with this deep dark green. I've got 2 special shimmers up here. This one is like a super dark multichrome. This is an iridescent. Beautiful. Shadowed Petal is more of like a pinky mauve purpley type of color story. We have this super icy pink, which I love. A matte white, which I love having in a palette. Super deep, deep, deep dark purple that almost reads like a black if I pack it on. 2 mid-tone mattes here. We have a multichrome up here. This shimmer, Midnight Blossom, I wore all over my lid at Creators and Friends, and I was loving it. I was loving it. Number 1 palette. Number 1 palettes that I've tried so far this year. Phenomenal quality, super versatile 9 pans. Like, I just broke it down for you how it's laid out so thoughtfully, and I can't choose between them because I love them both equally. I really do. I cannot choose between them, so I'm not going to. You can't make me. And these are my number 1 palettes. All right, and that is it for this palette ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts on any of the palettes I talked about today, or also, let me know, what is your favorite palette that you've tried so far this year? I would love to know that. Is there a palette that just like wowed you, that you're reaching for all the time? You love the color story, you love the formula, whatever it is. Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye.